Hey guys, welcome to Braddels Gaming and to another episode of my Far Cry 5 custom map series. In this series, I feature the maps that I create in the Far Cry 5 arcade, and today we're having a second look at my latest multiplayer map, Outback Paintball. Outback Paintball is a team deathmatch map on the Xbox One. It was inspired by my home country of Australia and my love for paintball, and it's also the smallest creation I've ever built, taking just 2 hours and 55 minutes to complete. Now, how this video differs from my map breakdown video is that today this is a gameplay breakdown, and this is where I show you guys gameplay footage of my map in action. But if you haven't checked out part 1, the map breakdown video for Outback Paintball, I definitely recommend you guys go and watch that now, as it provides all the inner workings of how I designed and built this map. But now let's shift into the pros of this particular map, and as was discussed in the map breakdown video, my prediction for this map being fast-paced was exactly spot on. The map offers a fast-paced, chaotic, intense, and tactical gameplay experience for the players, just like real-life paintball. I often found myself having to update the score to reach limit from its measly 40 kill count all the way up to 75 kills through 4 separate map updates. Whilst playing with friends, they all had similar opinions about the nature of the gameplay experience, as not only fast-paced, but scary to play due to the one-shot kills player modifier I implemented to simulate the paintball experience. Moving on to a smaller pro, although it definitely is essential in creating the authenticity of this map, and that is the environment. I'm really proud with how this map turned out. It's obviously heavily inspired by the Australian outback, and I think I've nailed the front of authenticity in terms of the surrounding infrastructure on the map and the vegetation. Now, despite the map being very repetitive, and some could argue that this may be a bad thing, the map still offers a variety of exciting gameplay for the players. I mentioned in the map breakdown video that whilst every weapon will kill another player with just one hit, each gun in each loadout has a different feel, which can either be disadvantageous or advantageous depending on your position in the map. Whilst the basic form of the map is repetitive, this has been done so players can purely focus on enemy targets rather than spending time trying to learn the map in more complicated, irregular map structures. The way I have positioned each barrel row also allows for diagonal sightlines to be utilized all over the map, and some barrels can be used to mount your guns on whilst providing premium cover from enemy fire, as you will see very soon in the gameplay. The central bunker structure and snake bunker on the side of the map also creates tactical points of interest for the players. My final pro for Outback Paintball is more on the editor side of things. The map was incredibly easy to pull off and lots of fun to make, and I definitely recommend for people that have either lost motivation to build big maps in the Far Cry editor to try their hands at a smaller map, as this map has shown me that it's a great way to build something smaller whilst you're also working on a bigger map. It keeps the motivation levels ticking over whilst giving you a nice break from your other larger creation. Likewise, if you've recently found yourself losing motivation or time to build bigger maps, or you're just new to the editor, I definitely recommend you try making something smaller. Now moving on to the cons of the map. Now initially the spawning was very unreliable. Even though the flip spawning technique that I talked about in the map breakdown video has been proven to work in other maps before, I think given the small nature of this map, it just doesn't really work out that well. Players from opposing teams often spawn next to each other, so in a subsequent update I removed the flip spawning and implemented a much simpler spawning system, where the blue team always spawns on one side of the map and the red team vice versa, whilst a neutral random spawn area has been implemented in the middle of the map to overcome any further spawning difficulties. Thankfully, this issue has now been resolved. Now, this isn't necessarily a con of my map, but occasionally some players can experience delay and lag. For example, sometimes when shooting at players, their health bar would pop up above their heads to indicate that they had been hit, but they would not die. One thing this can be attributed to is the spawn protection each player receives at the start of their life, which whilst is fair enough, some issues of delay and lag were happening away from the general spawn areas. This could be potentially improved by removing some of the vegetation or covers so that the game doesn't have to render in as much data. Another potential addition to this map that could create another gameplay dynamic is via the implementation of smoke grenades in the classes to allow players to break up sightlines and allow more flanking opportunities. Now the issue with this self-suggestion is that I would need to remove the infinite ammo modifier so smoke grenade spam throwing could not be an issue. Now as to whether I explore this approach or not, it's more likely I won't as I already think the map is near perfect. You would have noticed that all of the cons I talked about in the video have either been resolved or is something beyond my control, and that's because due to the simplicity of this map, there's a lot less things that can potentially go wrong. Now moving on to strategies for playing well. Basically, do what I do in the video. No, but in all seriousness, make sure to utilize the snake bunker on the map. In my opinion, it's the best position as it allows you to see enemy players first, hit enemies on the sides where they least expect it, whilst also providing great cover for you to either hide behind or mount your gun on top of. Also be sure to observe where your other teammates on the map are, so you can work out which parts of the map the enemies are. Chances are, if your teammates are in one area of the map, the enemies are in the other, or dispersed over the rest of the map, so keep your wits about you. But otherwise, that sums up the gameplay breakdown for my latest map in the Far Cry 5 arcade, Outback Paintball. There's still another 2 minutes of gameplay, so if you're interested in continuing to see the battle unfold, feel free to stick around till the end of the video. If you found this map enjoyable, be sure to check it out if you're on the Xbox One, and please remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for future channel notifications if you're new around here. But as always, I'm Braddels Gaming, I'm signing out now, and remember to have yourselves a great day.
You're almost there. You're close to victory. Victory is imminent.